He doesn't have the frozen tundra that we would have to unearth.
Truth be told, I'm in California right now.
Yeah, kind of hard to dig holes in January, Tom.
What's up, Herostock Nation?
What's up, Herostock Nation? It's Tom Lamog with Matthew Jones, and welcome to the Roundtable, where heroes talk. Hey, Matt, there you are. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, Tom. I tell you what, we keep meeting like this, and we keep sharing just amazing people with our listeners. I'm excited for the guests we've got coming up. I really am.
And I am too, because Herostock, we're a nonprofit organization, 501c3. And this past summer, the Herostock board and organizers really outdid themselves with the planning and delivery of this year's big event in Ashland. For Friday, August 22nd, they secured some great musicians and bands to open the weekend of festivities. There was Shannon Book with Deliberately Broken, Die Tired, Gallivant, and Lockjaw. And the place consistently rocked from the moment the event began right up until it was time to call it a night. The guests had a chance to visit over 50 resource booths as they walked in and make some connections with some of the nonprofits and for-profit organizations that we partner with. On Saturday, August 23rd, the entertainment for Country Night included Kimberly Meyer, South of Center, the Trainer Band, and headliner Elvie Shane, who also wooed the crowd and had them dancing. Games for all ages, a food truck serving barbecue. There were awards given to our local heroes and a spectacular display from the sky, courtesy of the Bravo Zulu Adventure Group. People I spoke with really enjoyed themselves.
Absolutely. Being at Herostock, you get to see veterans up on stage doing the very thing that they had kind of put on the back burner for their military service. Getting back to those things and those dreams that they had, prior to. And really just, Herostock really rolls out the red carpet for these performers, and such a great organization. I'm so excited about 2026. Like, if 2025 was crazy, and for those who didn't go, you did miss out. I know we keep saying it, but there's good news. There's another one coming. So
that's for sure.
Absolutely exciting.
We have to keep plugging that, because, behind the scenes, and hopefully Jason will spill the beans on some of the really exciting things that are happening. But if you go to his Facebook page, or even the Herostock website, or any of the social sites that has the Herostock name on it, you're going to hear hints from Jason, or maybe someone from the board themselves, maybe even from Matt and myself, about
maybe
really neat things. Like, for instance, there was a flight simulator. I don't know if you had heard about this. The flight simulator that was that the Air Force basically brought to an event. It was the Jeep event.
The Jeep Invasion, the Lake of the Ozarks event.
It was hot. I mean, all of this stuff. There's a lot to unpack right there, just that alone.
Yeah.
But I think he's talking with the Air Force to see how could we get that over to Herostock next year. So stay tuned. We don't have. Yeah. But hey, let's go ahead and move forward. In this hour, we're going to introduce one of the nonprofits that showed up with a booth at Herostock Ashland in August. It's Mitch Jewell of Nebraska Small Town Heroes. He's here to talk with us about getting started, getting the organization started, maybe a little insight to his overall mission, some of the events that they put on. And they're fairly unique events. I thought to myself, ooh, yeah, this could be fun. And of course, the mud volleyball, of course, which, yeah, I talked to him when I stopped his food. But let's just go ahead and bring in our guest. It's Mitch Jewell of Nebraska Small Town Heroes.
How are we doing tonight,
how's it
guys?
going? Good to see you. Good to see you, man.
Finally worked out to sit down and talk a little bit.
I know. You would think that technology would kind of help us schedule things.
Yeah. Technology is great until it doesn't want to work, and then everybody has lives outside of everything else. And
truly,
I'm just glad we finally got a chance here.
I did want to ask you, the Herostock experience itself, was there a standout that is something that just like I loved it? I absolutely loved it, because I know that there were so many things, from the skydivers to the music to the food to the games. Was there something in particular that stood out for you?
The people, the booths. I didn't get to walk around as much as I wanted to, but you came over and introduced yourself, and I talked to you, and so many other amazing people came over that, it was our first year. We're a smaller, newer nonprofit. They'd never heard of us. They wanted to hear our story and what we're about. And I shared our story. They shared their story, made some amazing connections with some people that we're going to, hopefully this year we can team up and, help each other out and do some awesome stuff for everybody.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Nebraska Small Town Heroes.
Used to travel around Nebraska a little bit and play mud volleyball. And when I say mud volleyball, I mean real mud volleyball, where they dig a hole, you put water in it, and you play volleyball. Most of those were a little bit further up north from where we're at. And we decided that, there's nothing really around where we are that, we could do something around here. And so we decided that we were going to just, start a nonprofit. Some people were on board with it. Some people weren't. And most of them have come, a little bit more on board now of going with a nonprofit. And we decided for Small Town Heroes because we want to benefit first responders, whether it's the families or fire departments, rescue departments, police departments. Sometimes stuff comes up where they don't plan on a budget. It comes out of the budget and they can't make it. And so they give us a proposal. If we have the funds, we help them out. And, it's just one of those of it really hits home with us. My wife, who is on the board with us, she's a volunteer here in Ashland. Her brother's a volunteer. Her dad is, her mom is, uncles are. Her dad is a retired fire captain of 30 years out of Lincoln. Her brother's Omaha Fire. They're both USAR. It's just first responders really hit home with us. So it was one of those of why not?
So let's go back to the mud volleyball for just a moment, because to me, that's a sport that, maybe it's an Olympic sport, but it's not one of those where
if not, it should be.
Comes to mind. It's kind of, but my guess is that you play volleyball.
I used to play a lot of sand. Yes.
And then you had the idea of digging a hole and filling it.
Well, we would go up north, like a few hours away from here, where they would do that. They would literally, they'd shrink the hole a little bit, or shrink the court a little bit from what a normal sand court is. Uh-huh. And then, the hole is 18 inches deep and you put water in it, put a volleyball net up. And it's the same rules as volleyball. You let a little bit of stuff go, but for the most part, it's the same as sand volleyball or court volleyball. Just in water.
So when you say it's 18 inches deep, is there like two teams, each with a shovel, and they got to go in and
no?
How that works?
When we were doing it here, when we did it here in town, we would host a tournament on a Saturday. I would start digging the holes on Wednesday, and I would dig 6 different holes for 6 different courts. And then we would try and wait till as late as we could on Friday afternoon, Friday evening to fill them. That way the water's still cold in the morning. I don't want anybody getting in warm water. It's no fun. Because by the end of the day on Saturday, the water's warmed up, the sun's out, and everybody's having a good time.
Oh my God. I can't. I remember being like a little kid at the pool, and I would dip my toe in the pool. I didn't want to jump in because it was so cold. I can only imagine having to jump into mud with cold mud.
So my guess then is that is the sport seasonal? Is it considered seasonal?
We usually we try and shoot to do it in June-ish. So we live in Nebraska, so in June it should be warm, but you don't really know what you're going to get.
So let's talk about the the places where you actually have these events.
So we've been around for 4 years now, so we're a fairly new nonprofit. The first 2 years we were able to do a mud volleyball tournament here locally in Ashland. We had a location. Come to find out that location, we had some issues with it. It was an old steel dumping ground, so unsafe to dig a hole and put water in.
Right. Right.
And so the last 2 years, we have been looking for a new location around town or in the vicinity. We have tons of people that volunteer their farmland or flatland. The main issue is a water source for us. Obviously, they're about 55 by 25 by 18 inches deep.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water to try and either truck in with fire trucks, which I don't like doing because I don't want to take them out of service to do that. And then it's finding the water source to make it doable for the weekend.
The people or the resources to prepare each of the different courts, the holes.
Yes.
Then you have to find the water to fill it. And then after that, hopefully that everyone who said that they're going to show up will show up.
Yeah.
How do you make that work?
Social media. I mean, honestly, it's advertising. We create an event on social media, and then I have a lot of good friends that own volleyball bars in Lincoln. I know some people in Omaha, and I share it with them. They share it. It just gets out, and then they email us. They sign up. Mm-hmm. We do have everybody prepay, because if you don't prepay, the chances of you wanting to show up at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. You wake up that morning and say, I don't really want to. I didn't pay for it. I'm not going to show up.
Yeah,
if you pay for it, you're going to show up.
Yeah, you got to have some skin in the game, man.
Yeah.
And
now, obviously, is it a co-ed sport, or do you just...
It's a co-ed. So one thing kind of different from court or sand is we only require to have 2 girls in the court while you're playing. So you can have 4 guys and 2 girls, but you have to have 2 girls. There's no guy-girl rule. And a lot of them are just like friends that play sand together or that go to other mud volleyball tournaments around. And they just like playing together. It's just friends, and they come out, and there's usually 6 to 9 people on a team. So if somebody has a few too many, that they can just sit out for a little bit. And
do they have like a dress? There must be a dress code for this, right? You can't, you can wear or you cannot wear. No, it's just basically
clothing.
You show up and
you just can't be naked. That's all we ask. I mean, it's one of those. The first 2 years we did it, we did a BYOB.
Uh-huh.
So we made sure everybody was 21 and over. We kind of had it was a public property, so we had to go in front of the city council and talk to them, and then we talked to the chief of police, and they kind of gave us the tailgate rule. We fenced it all off. As long as you were in that area and not causing problems, they're going to leave us alone. Obviously, we told everybody sober rides. We're obviously not responsible. You're an adult, but make sure that you're being responsible and respectful for the community that we're helping serve here.
Man, I can only imagine how heavy your feet must get.
It's mud, but it's not mud. That's why I don't really want the water sitting in it for too long, because then you get down. By the end of the day, you're in probably about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of mud just along the bottom, but it's mostly water.
Okay.
No, it's not just, I don't put loose dirt in and fill it. So it's water, but on the base of it, it's mud, because there's some other tournaments around that they line it and then they put some sand in it. So it's more of like a water volleyball. The only difference is they have sand, we have mud. Ours is a little bit dirtier and
funner.
Yeah.
Well, our guest has been Mitch Jewell of Nebraska, Small Town Heroes, based in Ashland, Nebraska. Mitch attended the Herostock Ashland event. That's where I met him, and we got to talk a little bit about what it is that his nonprofit organization is about. Mitch, hey man, maybe we'll see you next year.
Oh, I'm definitely coming. I mean, it's just amazing to be around so many other amazing booth people. Just meeting so many great people was the best part of the weekend.
All right.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, later this hour, it's U.S. Marine Corps veteran, singer-songwriter Scotti Fraser, who is out performing all over his home state of Texas, and also on an important personal mission, and that's reaching out to other veterans through his music and through camaraderie. Don't go away.
Standing on this runway, still in dirty boots. You in that dress, as I'm holding on to you. I feel San Diego sun and ocean breeze, but I can't erase the things that I've seen. So will you wait for me? Because I'm half the way home. I'm only half the way home. I try to run, but that war won't let go. I'm only half the way home. So welcome home from the fire, but it feels like my heart's wrapped in barbed wire. And as you're holding on to me, I just can't erase the things that I've seen. So will you wait for me? Because I'm half the way home. I'm only half the way home. I try to run, but that war won't let go. I'm only half the way home. As I stare into your eyes, I still see the deserts of Iraq. And if only in my mind I'll get home as fast as I can. But for now I'm half the way home. I'm only half the way home. I try to run, but that war won't let go. I'm only half the way home. I try to run, but that war won't let go. I'm only half the way home.
Good evening. It's Tom Lamog again with Matt Jones. Hey, you know that our show, The Roundtable, where heroes talk, we like to bring in musicians, those who have served in the U.S. Armed Forces and go on to become musicians and songwriters. Tonight's guest, we would like you to sit back and enjoy some of the music that he's got planned for us, but more importantly, some of the stories that he has to share. Tonight, it's Scotti Fraser, a U.S. Marine Corps combat veteran of the Middle East Wars. And Scotti, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining the program tonight. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's really great to be with you. Thank you for allowing me to share the time and the evening with you.
When I started to kind of gravitate towards Herostock and then took over the podcast, I went through Herostock's Facebook page and I saw that your name came up quite a bit. So you have really some type of connection with Herostock, and maybe you can kind of share what it is that caught your eye about it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I am a big supporter, and while I'm either performing at fundraiser and veteran supporting events like what Herostock does, but also I want to get behind organizations like them as well to help further to support what they do, because it helps our brothers and sisters in uniform and those, returning home. So any way that I can be connected to organizations like that in any way to support them, that's where my heart is. Absolutely.
About the music itself, and there are a number of organizations that say that music has healing powers. In your personal experience, what is it that made you discover the powers that music had, and that this is something that you wanted to be a part of your life?
Well, I've always been playing music. Ever since I was a teenager growing up, I'd played in bands and played music. So it's been a lifetime love affair with the guitar. Even before the Marine Corps, I was traveling around in a van and a bus and expressing myself with music. But I will say that through those challenging experiences in my decade in the Marine Corps, that music and a special song was always there. I think we all have that in life. There are those songs that get us through those hard times, those songs that help us remember. Maybe it's the wedding dance we did when we gave our daughter away in marriage, or maybe it's a song that got us through a challenging period in our life, and those anthems that resonate through our head. And I definitely had those songs that really stuck with me, that got me through Iraq and the Middle East. And I like to say, I'm just coming home one song at a time. And I think a lot of us have music in our lives that carry us through.
What's your earliest memory of music hitting you and saying, I want to be that? Was it Elvis, the Beatles, the Stones?
Very specifically, you hit the nail on the head. It was Elvis. I've always been attracted to those larger than life characters in music, Elvis and Kiss and groups like that, Johnny Cash, those larger than life characters. But definitely was Elvis from the very, very beginning. Definitely, yeah.
And then obviously the connection with guitar came as you became aware that that's what I want to do. Do you remember the first guitar that you owned?
I do. I went hungry at school for many, many months, saving my lunch money. So I'm probably 12 years old at this point. And we did not have the funds in my family to buy me a guitar or anything like that. So I saved and I went hungry and I sacrificed. And I took the city bus and transferred. The first time I ever took a bus, and took the city bus like 3-4 cities away. And it was an all-day arduous venture. And I had ordered a guitar from the catalog, the paper catalog of the Sears and Roebuck company, and ordered this department store guitar and traveled across these cities and picked it up when it came in and brought it back home and found a way to plug it into my mom's stereo. And instantly just came out smoke on the water from Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Just instinctively came out, and I was on my way. I had my guitar. I had this wonderful, wonderful thing. And that's how we got that first guitar.
Now, I got to ask you, were there moments where your mom and dad would have to yell at you, be like, that's not music, turn it down?
Absolutely. My folks were notably older and came from an older generation. And, when I got my first record player, mom said, ask dad. Parents were separated. Mom said, ask dad for his record player. So my dad made me promise, truth be told, I will give you the record player as long as you don't play those rock and roll records on it.
Oh, man.
Oh, rules.
I think a rule was broken.
Yeah. So I made that promise, and I broke that promise instantly.
Oh, man.
Put on a Led Zeppelin record or something like that. Off to the races.
So let's kind of get to after you've enlisted, and obviously you selected the Marine Corps. Is there a reason? I know you said that this is one of the lifelong dreams, the Marine Corps. Tell us about the selection and really what drove you to that.
So, since I was a kid, like I said, I'd always wanted to, try to be a rock star and to be a Marine. So I'd played in a number of bands in the San Francisco Bay Area where I grew up. I'm in Texas now, and I've been here for quite a many years and love Texas, but I started my formative years out there in the music scene. Played the Sunset Strip in LA on a regular basis, was very blessed to have stood and performed on the same stage as Led Zeppelin and Tom Petty and Janis Joplin and all of those people at the Fillmore in San Francisco. Very blessed to say that I performed on the same stage that Nirvana played at the Satyricon Club in Portland, and all these wonderful, wonderful things that I got very blessed to do.
On your own, or did you have to go through some connections of some sort?
I was in bands, and we got shows booked at some of these great places. So
it's highly competitive here in California. I'm here in California.
Yeah. Absolutely. Played a lot of those places on the Sunset Strip, the Whiskey and the Viper Room and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a challenge to get into some of those places. But as much as I loved music in those teenage years and those early 20s, something was still missing. And I've always been a very challenge-oriented guy. And I wanted that next big challenge. And for me, it was the Marine Corps. I felt for me, and look, total respect for all branches of service. We all do our part, and we are all brothers and sisters in uniform. And we are all part of the big team. But for me, that challenge I wanted was the Marine Corps. So I enlisted and made it in and shipped off to boot camp in San Diego to start that next venture of my life.
Maybe you can share some of the highlights of your military career. I'm taking a look at your website and your bio, and you've seen some things, and you've actually been honest about them on your website. Maybe you can kind of touch on some of the things that you'd like to share that our audience should know about you.
Well, I'm definitely a very, very, very proud Marine Corps veteran. It was an absolute honor to serve. And, through my time in service, I was able to serve in a lot of different places. One of which comes to mind was Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. That was very, very challenging duty out there. And I also served in combat in Iraq. I was in the push, as they call it, the push in 2003, the invasion of Iraq. From D-Day, we crossed the border, fought in battles like Nasiriyah and other places, all the way up to Baghdad, numerous firefights on a regular basis between Nasiriyah and Baghdad in 2003. And, those graphic experiences and the things I saw, the things I did, and the amount of human suffering that I saw and experienced really changed my perspective on life. And it made me want to do something positive and to do something. It made me realize how fragile and fleeting that life is and how beautiful it is. And it made me want to do something positive for other people. And for me, that avenue I was able to use was music.
So while you were serving, did you have the opportunity to bring your guitar and bring it out and help you really make it through some of those tough times you described in your bio?
I was not able to bring a guitar. Being in the Marine Corps infantry, sometimes it's tough to fit something like that in your sea bag and travel around. But Marines are very crafty, and one of us always seemed to find a guitar somewhere. So I remember strumming in many places, and just something about being gathered around a group of guys around a fire, about to go into a battle or to go into a challenging training situation, and breaking out that guitar really just levels the feeling and calms the savage lion and calms the spirits.
How many opportunities did you really get to grasp, get a hold of music and have it kind of bring you back to where you needed to be in that 10 years?
Well, I remember specifically being at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and it was very challenging work there, and a lot of work and then training, and maybe 2 days off to rest. And we had this area down on Windward side where they had some food and some entertainment types of things, and they had a stage, and they had this cover band that would play music and play popular hits. And me and some of my fellow Marines, we actually went down there and commandeered their equipment and commandeered the stage one night. And we went up there and must have played Knocking on Heaven's Door, the Bob Dylan song that Guns N' Roses also made famous. We must have played that for 30 minutes and got to perform for the troops at Gitmo there. And it was just so uplifting. It was such a positive moment for them to see their brothers in uniform up on the stage rocking the troops there in Guantanamo. It was so cool.
That must have been just exhilarating to finally, this is who you are. You made it clear that music has been with you since your youth. It's been with you even, as you enlisted, and now the opportunity to play.
Right.
What did that feel like to you?
It was amazing. Music always made me feel calm and made me feel reassured. And music was there kind of in the beginning, and music was there to bring me home. If I can share a story, I remember after my infantry unit pulled out of Iraq, and just the challenges of hardship and survival and battles. And we went to Kuwait, and we were waiting for our turn to get on a plane for our unit to come back home. And I had already started experiencing some of the challenges, the depression, the anxiety, and those types of things as we sat at Camp Matilda waiting for our chance to come home. And there I was one evening as the desert haze glowed in the distance and the sun was going down behind the sandy view. And I was feeling very lonely and very depressed. And I saw a figure walking way off in the distance, and that raised my awareness. Who's this coming through, across the berm and across the expanse of the desert? And as the person, I got kind of at the ready, and I was ready to protect our tent, and I could hear music and I could hear singing. And as he got closer, it was a Marine who I'd never seen before, with a guitar, strumming and playing and singing, With or Without You, from U2, which is an interesting story. It's about a guy that can't live with this situation, but with that hardship, he also can't live without it because it's become part of him. And this Marine walks right up to me in this depressive state and says, "Hey, bro. Hey, devil dog. You want to play?" And he handed me this guitar. And in that moment, I felt that healing. I grabbed the guitar. I started strumming. I started playing. I started singing, and we interacted. And in that moment of my depression and stress, I was healed with the music. So we played a little bit. We talked a little bit. I handed him the guitar back. He started strumming that song again, walked off into the desert, into the distance, and I never saw him again. But music was there for me in my worst moments in adversity.
Man, I got cold chills.
Yeah. What a story.
I feel like I'm listening to like myself, and I don't want to have that sound weird, but like everything that you're saying are things that like I want to be, I want to do, I want to stand for, you know? So hearing you say all this, like music, you can find healing. Like I remember in Afghanistan when I was able to have my guitar, and we were invited to have food, like to eat with a Afghan family. And they brought us in, and I was like, we were playing games, and people are laughing, and you see it. It's like this peace that's existing in there, and even though it's in like a war torn country, you can find peace. And I went and I got my guitar, and I started playing and just singing, and we were all just having fun. They started dancing around, and then I hand my guitar to them, and I get to hear him tune and tweak my guitar and then play it like I've never heard it played before. But it was absolutely amazing. So when you talk about music being a form of healing, like, man, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Matt. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's just a great equalizer. It just brings people together. And, I think piggybacking on what you just said, coming home and having that music in your soul at home, I just think, if we could get people to turn off the television and turn off the news a little bit and put on a little bit more music.
Let's talk about your songwriting and guitar, and maybe so you were talking a little bit about how your situation was really what you were thinking, what you were feeling, and as you left the Marine Corps, did that immediately take you into I want to start writing stories and taking this guitar and actually doing things with it? Was it that soon, or what was it that got you towards songwriting?
For me, when I got out of service, I was in a very different mindset than the man that sits before you right now. I was very broken and had a lot of challenges and a lot of things I had to work through. Music and the guitar is such a beautiful, beautiful thing for me that when I was in that broken mindset, I really couldn't touch it. I didn't play much for a few years. I had a few guitars, and I just couldn't go to them in that moment. But I think it was a few years later, I have these nightmares total transparency. I have these nightmares and I still live with them. They seem to come at 3 a.m. for some reason. But after this nightmare, a few years later at 3 a.m., instead of reaching for the bottle, I decided to reach for the guitar and give that a chance. And I just started strumming and penning down my thoughts and trying to digest my thoughts. And I put it into a song. And it was very, very healing. And I highly recommend that for anybody watching, that the guitar can be such a cathartic, beautiful, healing thing to, just to pick it up and give it a shot.
I've heard people say that, there's thousands of artists out there who can, perfectly describe my life and, really hit, home for you. But there's really only one person who can tell your story the best, and that's you, So, yeah, I love every bit of that little piece of advice. Challenge them, step outside your comfort zone.
Right.
And just accept the possibility that the other side of the coin isn't tarnished,
Right. And I think it's such a wonderful thing, like what y'all do. And it's just such an amazing thing. I think helping people get guitars and teaching them how to play and teaching them music, whether they have no musical experience in their background or not, teaching them that, I feel really saves lives. And that's what we really need to do in the situation the world that we live in now. So I think it's just
definitely
great.
Seeing proof of that for sure. In all of the conversations that we've had, and guitar comes up, it usually is, takes them in a place where it's like, it's just solace, it's comfort, it's healing. And, It's good to hear this from you. I just want to go back. Do you remember that song that you wrote that instead of picking up the bottle, I pick up the guitar? Do you remember it, and do you perform it in your shows?
It was a song called "Do or Die," and it was taken from the Marine Corps motto, "Semper Fi, Do or Die." I think a lot of us in military service, we have that "Do or Die" motto and that mentality. And I tried to picturesque put in that song those visions and those sights that I saw as I was in Iraq, as I was in Baghdad. I could smell the smoke from the city burning. I could see the fires off in the distance. I could hear vehicles and people scurrying around and hear the sights and see the sights and hear the sounds. And I wanted to put that into that song. And the chorus of that song says, "Mine is not to wonder why, mine is just to do or die." And it's from my experience, my personal experience, but I think it's all our experiences who have served over there. And it's just really about accepting your fate, accepting the possibility should you fall, and finding that peace in that moment and being good with that.
Have you played that song with others who have served? And if so, what was their reaction?
So I break that song out at special occasions. I do quite a few veteran-focused events, fundraisers, charities, and PTSD retreats, USO stuff. And that's a song that I like to break out at those events. I will tell you, it's very rewarding for me that every time I do that song, at least one veteran comes up to me after my show and says, "That's my story too." Like, "Thank you for singing that. You put my story into words." And that's worth everything to me, that it can resonate with someone. Music brings me home from war, brings me home from trauma, and does something positive for me. So hopefully, maybe with my music, I can help all of us come home.
I don't suppose you'd like to play it for us now, would you?
I would absolutely love to.
All right. Scotti Fraser, everyone.
Listening to my heartbeat pound as daylight fades away. A haunting old familiar sound. The guns go silent and I pray. I'm reading all your letters. I can't get you off my mind. Smoke the day's last cigarette. Thankful I'm alive. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Helmet for my pillow. I rest on broken glass. Only heaven knows how long can this all last. I lived another day, but trouble's all around. Guns have fallen silent tonight, but the silence is so loud. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. I look up at the stars. Through smoke I see the moon. And I wonder where you are at home tonight. If you can see it too. Another burning city lights the fires in the night. I lie to myself and say that I'm not afraid to die. This war is taking me so far from you. And if we meet again, I'll hold you close and never let you go. But until then, mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die.
Weapon of choice, brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are, I like. It's been said many times that everyone you meet in life is fighting a battle that you may know nothing about. If you've served, then I've got at least a general idea of the battles that you're facing. Whatever your job was in the military, just having put on the uniform and writing that blank check up to and including my life. So, if this weapon here can help us fight those battles all together, that's awesome.
Scotti, in your bio, you actually are out there actively trying to help others through your music. Those individuals who have suffered from PTSD or maybe physical injuries, but you're actually out there really wanting to help these individuals with music and camaraderie. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, like I had mentioned before, the graphic experiences I had in combat in the Middle East really made me have a new appreciation for how beautiful life is. And I know how alone I felt when I got out of the military. And I just don't want anybody else to feel like I felt. So I want to use music as the avenue to do that. On a side note, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I had a neurological issue, a tic, and a stutter so bad that I basically had to relearn how to speak and how to interact in public. I wasn't really able to go to restaurants and movie theaters and interact, and even had challenges feeding myself and things like that. So I fought back from those challenges, and it was so hard for me. I mean, I can't believe the way my speech was when I got out of the military, that here I am now bringing empowerment to people and standing on a stage and recording these songs and singing hope over people. And I just don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through. So if I can do anything positive with my music to help other people's suffering, I'm just trying to earn that plane ticket home. I'm just trying to pay it forward and earn my way home.
Now, are these special sessions that you put together where you invite people to come out and you talk with them through the process and share your music, or is this something you do at your live shows? How do you deliver that message?
I always try and interact with people at my live shows, and I do quite a few a year. There's quite a few events, dozens. But I also have a company called Sargent Records that is a record label and music production company. And we do events throughout the year here in the Houston, Texas area. And we invite veterans to come get out of their house, have camaraderie, meet other people, and be in a positive environment and be celebrated and make some connections. Really just to get folks out of their house, get them out of the darkness.
Where can they find you, and how can they look for these events that you're describing?
So for Sergeant Records, they can find us at sergeantrecords.com. Mm-hmm. If they are in the Houston, Texas area, we have our annual Toy Drive concert coming up in early December, and we will be doing an event with numerous amazing Texas acoustic artists. It'll be a singer-songwriter showcase, and we'll have music and drink and food all afternoon. And we are asking everyone who comes to please bring a toy of any price that will be donated through a Veterans Resource Center here in Houston, and go to the Toys for Tots folks through the Marines there to help get toys to kids of struggling veterans in our area.
Have you ever, I guess, in this whole journey to music, I imagine that you may have found yourself at a point where it almost feels like you're standing on like a double-edged, like on the tip of a double-edged sword, where you're writing and you're telling stories that are so impactful that they bring up feelings from your listeners and from your fans that kind of almost make them relive a little bit of that trauma. Have you noticed any challenges when it comes to kind of balancing, between those two?
So on that note, I have a number of original songs. I've probably got about 30. About 18 of those are recorded and on streaming. I go through those songs and I go through my set list. It's a lot of time that I stop and think just because of the set list. I don't want to go too deep in certain situations and bring up old hurt. Like I mentioned, that event that I played, and there wasn't a dry eye in the place. And I was trying to figure out, is this healing positive tears, letting go of the ghosts of the past? Because I definitely don't want people to relive hardship. So yeah, that's something I think about a lot. I really think about the songs I'm choosing. I just did a Gold Star event last weekend here in Texas, and I have a new song that's not recorded called Star of Gold that I wrote for Gold Star families. And I'm very cautious with that song. I don't want to dig in a wound, but I want to sing it in a way that can bring some hope and healing.
Moving story, Scotti. Thank you so much for sitting down with us and sharing them, along with the music as well too. It's wonderful to hear you in that acoustic guitar and giving us really something to listen to reflect upon and enjoy. Thank you so very much for your time. It was an absolute honor to have spent this hour with you guys. And I just thank you so much. You're helping me find my way back home one song at a time, and I hope the music can help other people find their way home. Awesome. Scotti Fraser is a U.S. Marine Corps combat veteran of the Middle East wars with a mission to reach others with the healing powers of music and through camaraderie it shows in his home state of Texas and beyond, in hopes that no one feels alone. When we come back, we've got some final thoughts, Matt and I, and we're going to tell you who's going to be our next musical guest next week after this.
Talking with Scotti, man, it's just everything that he was saying are the things that, like, I'm trying to keep my eyes on, being a beacon of hope for people, going out and sharing these stories, and there's a beauty in the way that each of us does that. Such an amazing guy. Mitch, I mean, we think about, we got everything from mud wrestling to, making music. So, I mean, I'm excited for who we got coming up. If you saw that guitar last year, oh my God. Rav's Guitars, I can't wait to talk to him.
Did you get to hold it?
I did not. Don't tell me you did.
Oh, I got pictures. Actually, I went. Robert had shown up at a concert event in Anaheim, California. He brought a bunch of guitars with him because he was outfitting the musicians with his guitars.
Yeah.
So not only did I have a chance to hear them in action, but we got the backstage pass, and then he's like, "Here, hold this. Here, hold this.
Oh
Here,
my God.
hold on to this." It's like, okay, sure. And then
give me something to hold. Give me some guitars. I'll hold them.
Oh boy. Well, and I'm certain that Robert has some other things to share because he's been working on, I believe, a video or maybe a cable program of some sort. So if you stop by rasguitars.com, you'll start to really see what he's been working on over the last year or so. But we're excited to have him as our guest on the next roundtable. So with that, I'd say it's probably time to hang it up since we've been here for a little while. What do you say?
We have been here a little while, but we have accomplished our mission.
We're there.
And we are looking on to the next one.
There we go. For Matt Jones, I'm Tom Lamog. You've been watching the Roundtable, where heroes talk, here on the Reads Across America Radio Network and at herostock.org. See you next week.
Some memories in a faded duffel bag. The city